It is Halloween, so happy Halloween, guys. And this morning I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, which isn't that uncommon. I was having a bad dream. Something crazy. I don't know what it was. But nevertheless, I woke up with a huge sense of relief. I don't know if anyone out there has ever experienced that. Please let me know. Leave a comment if you ever had a nightmare. And instead of waking up scared out of your mind, you wake up with a sense of almost gratitude, as I did. A sense of relief that what was happening in the dream wasn't my reality, which was a blessing. That's been happening more often lately. Before I would have nightmares and they would keep me up and I would try to fight it and go back to sleep. And I would never succeed at that. Has anyone else experienced that? Having a nightmare, waking up from a nightmare, or being stuck in a nightmare. In real life, or in your dream, however you want to look at it, but this was in my dream, thankfully. I used to have nightmares a lot more frequently. Now I have them less often. But I would try to fight them and go back to sleep. And I would immediately be put back into that dream. And I'd get frustrated and get anxiety and go back and forth with, should I get up? Should I go back to sleep? Or how am I going to get up in the morning? And go through all the scenarios of how this nightmare was going to ruin my night of sleep or my morning or my day before my day even started. There's a good point to be made there. Because all week we've been talking about Ryan Holiday's book, The Obstacle is the Way. Perspective, perception. Now that I've been thinking about it and studying this book, there isn't a moment go by that our perception and our perspective doesn't affect every moment of our day. Just giving me something to think about. So I started this morning off by journaling a little bit. I started to talk about, I woke up at 3:30 and I had a nightmare. And I woke up with this sense of relief, this sense of gratitude, and a smile on my face. I mean, here it is. And I just popped out of bed. And I'm grateful for that. If anyone's experienced that before, but let me know, please. But yeah, when you can turn a nightmare, whether in real life or in your dreams, into a positive situation, like I did this morning, I don't know if that's growth. I don't know if I'm getting wacky from reading all this stuff, but I'll take it for what it is. I'll take it at face value. I was having a bad dream. I woke up. I recognized that it's just a bad dream. My life is what I make of it every day. I'm humble, I'm grateful, I'm blessed to be here this morning. I popped out of bed, wrote about it for a second. Now I'm talking to you guys about it for a second. And now I feel great. Now I'm sipping my coffee. We're going to get started on another portion of this book. Halloween morning, maybe something's in the air, guys. I don't know. Usually a spooky kind of day. I know this face ain't getting any younger. What are you going to do? So yeah, big shout out to Ryan Holiday, Robin Sharma, Robin Green. This week we're talking about The Obstacle is the Way. And I believe that the obstacle is the way. This book has been heavily detailed in perception, perspective, all things like that. I'm sure the other chapters will open up into other segments. So this one was about don't let the first impression of anything you will encounter move you in one way or the other right off the bat. By that I mean, take a second to process what you're seeing with your eyes, what you're hearing, what you're feeling. Use your senses. They're there for a reason. Take it in and process it, no matter how dramatic that information is. And that's a perfect example of how I was having a nightmare and I woke up. Instead of overreacting and getting bent out of shape, I processed it. Took a second, took a breath, breathed, and realized it was just a dream. How often do problems come from judgment of things that we don't control? I would say very often. I know I get bent out of shape when I see traffic before I even start on my trip. And I can't control the traffic at all. I mean, that traffic would get me worked up. Leaving my house could have potentially ruined my day. It's ruined my weeks before, having too much traffic. I wouldn't want to leave my house. I've given myself so much anxiety about traffic or a crowded place or this or that. Yet I have no control over these aspects of the world, of my life. I can choose not to go. Then I'd be limiting myself on the things that I enjoy. So these things are giving me an impression. Me, Franco, I'm judging it. I'm feeling a certain type of way about it. And that's ultimately hindering my experience at that point. So if anything from that, I'm definitely learning how not to let the impression of anything move me in one way or the other and take my personal perspective out of it and look at it objectively. We always see things the way we see things, if that makes any sense. We see things as the way they were supposed to be rather than what's actually there. We hear things. People always say, do you hear me? Are you listening? Do you hear me? I'm listening, but you're not hearing me. Or you're listening, but you're not hearing me. How often has someone said that? How often do problems come from the judgment of things that we don't control? How often do we see what we think is there rather than what is there or should be there? Sometimes it just is what it is. That's an old saying. That's a really good one. Our judgments and our opinions and our perspectives will make up a lot of shit to try to justify what we're seeing. When you buy a shirt and you say, oh, that looks good. You know that shirt don't look good on you. I've done it a million times, but you like the shirt. You've seen the shirt, you've seen the clothes, you've seen the sneakers. You force yourself to think that you're making the right decision because your ego sees that as what it wants it to see. But you ultimately know deep inside it's not a good match. We do that in life with relationships. You'll force a relationship. You'll put judgment on somebody else, a loved one, a partner, a friend, knowing that you can't change them. They can only change themselves. I think we do this all the time in life. We're all humans, you know? We make mistakes. We learn, we don't learn. We grow, we don't grow. Whatever you put your time and attention to and focus on, you're going to get either a negative or a positive reaction from it. You want to grow, and you work positively to grow, you grow. You want to stay the same, you'll stay the same. Another good example of this is when we give people advice, or say someone tells us their problems. Has this ever happened to you? You're talking to somebody and they say, oh, hey, how do I do this? How do I get from point A to point B? Oh, I want to learn about this. And you happen to have a little information about it and boom, you go into teacher mode. I do it every day. I'm guilty of this. It's like when someone else has an issue, you can cut through the emotional attachment of what they're going through so much easier than if it was happening to you, right? When someone tells you about their dating problems, or their love lives, or their personal issues, it's very, very easy for you to say, do this, this, and this, because we're not emotionally involved in what that person is experiencing. And I full-heartedly understand this. Anytime I'm listening to a friend or a loved one, I always lead with, you never know what that person is going through. That's today, at least. In the past, that shit went out the window. Your emotions immediately get involved when something is happening to you. Whether you're going through a breakup, a death in the family, something didn't work out, someone gave you a slight in life at work, at the gym, anywhere in your life. Our egos are very sensitive. I don't care how big, tough, beautiful, smoking hot you are, fat, skinny, ugly. None of that shit matters. It might make somebody cocky, disrespectful, or rude, but that ain't gonna help solve their problems whatsoever. Back to what I was saying, when we give advice to others, why is the solution to their problem so obvious? But then when we examine our own problems, we panic, you know? Why won't we try to help someone else's situation out? We can see it clearly. Well, much clearer. I think I've come a long way with this type of thing. I try to take myself out of it objectively and look at it like you're looking at someone else's situation. I think this has changed my life completely. It might be a little emotionless. Cool heads prevail. You're not always going to be able to do this. You're not always going to be able to remove yourself from the situation of what you're going through. But when seeking advice, seeking counsel, look at your problem as if you're paying someone a consultant, top money. You don't want to, I use the term money, time. Your time is your most valuable asset. So look at this problem that you're having in your life, this thing that you're going through at that moment, this task that you have to tackle that's getting you upset and emotional as the most significant thing in your life or your day at the moment that you need to fix. I always say look at things or do things like you feel the need to breathe air. It's very intense. It's a strong choosing of words. If you tackle things like this, like the need to breathe air, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Because you have to breathe air to function as a human. I think this comes with time and practice. It's very easy not to remove yourself from a problem because we're emotionally involved people. We're all emotional. But try this. Let me know if it works. If anyone out there is going through anything, having a shitty day, a bad week, a bad month, look at your problem as if you're looking at it from the outside in. As if someone else was going to solve your problem for you. What would they do? And then attack it viciously. Like you need to breathe the air. Like you need to breathe. And see how it goes. Well, that was a quick snippet from Ryan Holiday's book, The Obstacle is the Way. Learning how to overcome anything in your life. Not looking at obstacles like they're problems, but they're opportunities to rise to the occasion to achieve greatness. Or just to get out of bed and go through your day. So today, if you take anything from this book, you run into a problem, or anything dramatic comes your way today, any static, any toxic energy, try not to react right away. Listen, close your mouth, process that first impression that you're receiving. No matter what your brain is telling you inside your head, take a second, look at that situation, breathe, and then respond cool, calm, and collectively after you gather your thoughts. And then, when trying to manage a problem in your life or helping someone else in your life, get into a habit of taking yourself out of it emotionally. Let me know how this works. I'm curious. It works for me. I live my life like this, and things are going well today. So, that's a start, All we can do is try, learn, grow. Sometimes it's 4 steps forward, 10 steps back. But when you learn new things, be happy, embrace them, Share them with people. That's what life's all about. All right, guys, it's October 31st. It's Halloween. It's now 4:57 in the morning. I got an early start. I'm feeling good. Hope you guys are too. I hope these videos will help motivate, inspire. If anything, just make you question one thing that you haven't heard before and say, ooh, maybe that's a good point. And as always, I'm open to any communication and dialogue about any of these topics. Once again, I'm Franco, we're packed and ready to go. Remember to stay humble, stay blessed, and stay grateful. And more importantly, make sure you call your mother. Have a nice day, guys.